Hello, dear listeners, and welcome to today's TSF1 Greece Podcast with Alex and Panos. Hello, Panos.
Hello, Alex.
So, today Dimitris is not here again. He has been disqualified, just like Hamilton did. More on that soon from Panos. So, we have the USA Grand Prix, or let's better say the Austin Grand Prix, because we have three on US soil this year. So, Panos, do you want to start before we go into free practice, quali, sprint, shootouts and races and so on? We had the full enchilada this weekend. So you dive into why Leclerc and Hamilton were disqualified.
Sure, Alex. So as we saw on Monday morning, we learned that on Sunday afternoon, to be honest, we learned that Hamilton and Leclerc were disqualified from the United States Grand Prix for a technical breach. I didn't have the time at that time to learn more on that, but as I said to Alex, I had the time right now, and I can explain why and to what rule Mercedes and Ferrari broke.
Okay, so enlighten us.
Technically, Hamilton and Leclerc cars had less of a thick plank, which is the wooden part on the bottom of the F1 chassis, the one that sparkles all the time every time the car bottoms out. So, more technical on that, the thickness of the plank assembly measured normal to the lowest surface must be 10 millimeters plus more or less of 0.2 millimeters. So, and must be uniform when it's new. A minimum thickness of 9 millimeters will be accepted due to wear, and conformity to this provision will be checked and the peripheries of the designated holes. So, what happened to Leclerc and Hamilton is that due to the bumpy Austin and the fact that we had a sprint race which made the drivers push a bit harder, the results after the race at the let's say examines that were made after the race, we found that the plank was 7 to 8 millimeters at the front and less than 9 in the rear. So that's why both Hamilton and Leclerc were the two drivers
basically.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Painful for us Ferrari fans.
Who cares about Mercedes anyways? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a bit disappointing for everyone, but it's what it is. It is in the rule book. We have to apply to the rules. We don't want any more no Michael, no.
I mean, no matter what the rules say, right or wrong, I mean, they exist and they have to be enforced, so yeah.
We have to accept them and live with them. So, moving on. As I said, we have a sprint Saturday, so we only have one practice session on Friday, in which Max Verstappen took first place, Leclerc was second, and Lewis Hamilton was third. Moving on to qualifying for the race for Sunday. In first place, we have in 16th place out of Q2, we have Nico Hülkenberg, 17th Fernando Alonso, Alexander Albon, Lance Stroll, and 20th Logan Sargent. Moving on to Q2 out of Q3, in 11th we have Yuki Tsunoda, Zhou Guanyu, Valtteri Bottas, Kevin Magnussen, and Daniel Ricciardo, who made a comeback. Woo!
Wow. Trip down memory lane.
Moving on to Q3, the poleman after a long time, Charles Leclerc, second Lando Norris, third Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, George Russell, Max Verstappen, who made the 360, that's why he's not first, seventh Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon, Sergio Perez, he's still in Red Bull, and 10th Oscar Piastri. Moving on to sprint shootout qualifying. Out of SQ2, in SQ1 we have in 16th Nico Hülkenberg, Kevin Magnussen, Valtteri Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, Logan Sargent. Moving on to SQ2, out of SQ3 we have in 11th Daniel Ricciardo, Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon, Lance Stroll and Zhou Guanyu. Moving on to SQ3, first place and the poleman, of course, Max Verstappen. Second, Charles Leclerc. Third, Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, Carlos Sainz, Sergio Perez, George Russell, Alexander Albon and Pierre Gasly for our top 10.
Okay.
We didn't have. We only had one penalty for Russell, 3 grid places for impeding Leclerc during the sprint shootout. So we have George Russell from 8th to 11th. Moving on to the sprint race, wasn't much to talk about rather than Leclerc being pushed out of the racing line from Sir Lewis Hamilton in turn 1.
Always good to see.
Yeah. Rather than that, I don't think we had much to discuss.
It's what it's.
Yeah.
No, what it is. I mean, okay. Yeah, but joke. So, can we move to the race?
Sure, of course.
Okay. So, let's start with the race directly with Norris, who immediately took the lead at the beginning, keeping Leclerc at bay.
And what an impressive gain by Piastri, jumping 4 placing to find himself in 6th. That kid got some talent.
Definitely. So by the second lap, Norris was already 2 seconds ahead and even set the fastest lap. Talk about dominance. But the real action was actually for the 7th place, where Russell, Ocon and Perez were really neck to neck, right?
Mm-hmm. And by the 4th lap, Hamilton had outpaced Sainz, and not long after, Verstappen followed suit.
No surprise.
It wasn't long before Hamilton was breathing down Leclerc's neck, with Norris still leading with a 3.2 second gap.
Again, no surprise. So, a tough break for Ocon though. I mean, he had to retire on lap 7 due to an unfortunate incident during the initial lap, and as we approached the 10th lap, the racers' hierarchy saw some major shuffling.
Indeed, Piastri had to withdraw by lap 11, and that's when the pit stop began. And then the Verstappen-Leclerc battle. Verstappen eventually got the better of him, with Hamilton hot and on Norris' tail.
Yeah, and continuing down the race, things got interesting again on lap 17, where Verstappen pitted, signaling a possible 2-stop strategy. Norris and the others soon followed, and that has led Hamilton to grab the lead, but the buzz in the pit lane was all about Hamilton possibly opting for a single pit stop.
The strategies truly began unfolding by lap 30. Verstappen took the lead from Norris, hinting at their game plans. And on lap 35, Norris surprised everyone with his pit stop choice.
Indeed. So, as we were wrapping up the race and we are nearing its climax, the focus shifted, of course, to the Verstappen-Hamilton rivalry, and what a show it was. I mean, Verstappen held his ground, and by the end it was clear who dominated this track, as always. I think it wasn't like one of the most amazing weekends, but it was also like, it was an okay race, I think. Don't you think?
It was a weird race, to be honest. I don't think I've ever... There wasn't a lot to see, but the incidents with track limits not being penalized. Max Verstappen.
Hello.
And disqualifying some drivers after the race for the first time
since Michael Masi.
I think it was
not really
pretty
fair. I mean,
yeah, pretty interesting topic to have a conversation, to open a conversation and discuss about it a lot.
To be honest, I mean, I don't know if it is us or in general the sport, but I see more and more people like really being annoyed about those things in Formula One. Like, we are losing the ground here.
Let them race. Just let them race. It's okay.
Yes. I think at the end of this season it's a good point to see like where we stand and if we continue or not. I think maybe we should give it another go for another season, definitely. But Formula 1, I hope we don't continue to have like for 24 and 25 like the Mercedes era, where like for 7 years it was literally boring to watch F1. At least let's have a bit more of a battle race, something. So I think we can wrap this all up and come back next week, this time on Monday, hopefully, and cover the next race, because we have another 2 races coming up back to back before entering November, where we will finish the season in 3 races from now with Abu Dhabi. So thank you very much for being with us today. I mean, yeah, it was a weird race, so hopefully the next one is more action packed and definitely a bit more interesting. From us all here at TSF1 Greece, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next Monday with the next podcast. Have a great day.